Hello everybody, and welcome back to my channel. I'm Gio, and this is chapter 24 for White Silk Lover. Saturday, May 1st. Coby. It didn't take a college education to know what this meant. Once again, I had lost everything. This time was much worse, because I loved Tomas. At least I had met some amazing people, played one incredible piano, and dated the most beautiful guy in the world. My first and only boyfriend. Albert and Joy stood by the French doors that led out to the deck. From the flat lines of their mouths, the hardness in their eyes, and the stiff way they held their shoulders, it told me they had heard and disapproved. I liked them, but I knew my time was limited. Now that everyone knew, they wouldn't want ex-whores like me around to dirty Tomas's image. I should leave right now, before the screaming started, and they kicked me out. Just like my parents did. Careful of my hand, I dropped the blanket as I stood and walked to the doors. I forced a small smile to hide the pain inside. I'm glad I got to know all of you, but I know how this goes. No regrets. You're not making any sense, Tomas said, standing and letting the blanket fall. Yes, he is, Albert said. Coby saying goodbye. I paused at the door and looked at Tomas. He was so beautiful, inside and out. Give me 5 minutes and I'll be gone. I can catch a bus so you don't have to worry about a plane. Coby? Tomas said. You're leaving. Why? I have to. A scandal can destroy your career. You don't have to worry about me telling anything. I never will. My time with all of you has been too special. I won't ruin that. I bumped my hand on the door sill, and I winced. Thank you. It's been. I couldn't keep the smile anymore. It was losing everything all over again, times 2, times 10, times 100. I must not cry. Tomas must not know how much this hurt. How's the hand? Tomas asked. Pretty lousy. I wiped my cheek. Traitorous tears. You'll need someone to carry your bag, Tomas said in Sterling's accent. That's as good a farewell line as any. I'll manage. I've got 2 hands, Mr. Locke, sir. It's been a pleasure. Joey crossed her arms and stood in front of the door, blocking it. Here it comes. The screaming. Mom yelled, in this family we have high values and high expectations. We don't approve of that lifestyle. Dad yelled, when you decide to live your life by our standards, you can come back. We raised you better than this, Mom yelled. Mom, Dad, this is who I am, I yelled back. Don't do this. Dad yelled, living on the streets might change your mind. Get out. Get out, my mom echoed. Get out. I heard my dad say in my head again and again. I screwed my face up, fighting tears, the explosion of despair, the gut implosion that meant I was about to throw up. Get out, my dad said. Get out, my dad yelled. I don't think you should go, Tomas said, his voice quiet compared to the shouts in my head. I have to, I said. You don't need damaged people like me around. No one wants you to leave, Tomas said, taking my good hand. I don't want you to leave. I placed my left hand under my armpit. I'm not the kind of person you want as a boyfriend. I love you too much, so I have to leave, so I don't ruin you. We became your family, didn't we? Albert said. The old ache in my heart flared. Heat flushed my face and my eyes wouldn't stop leaking. I'm pretty pathetic, right? As pathetic as the rest of us, Joey said. You did what you had to. Tomas hugged me from behind, his wet cheek by the side of my head. I reached up to touch his hand, and he gripped mine. He held me, and we stood like that, until Tomas led me back to the bench. Albert, first thing tomorrow, can you find us a doctor? I don't like the way Coby keeps holding his hand, Tomas said. And I don't think Coby's had anything to eat since Vegas. Joey, can you see if there's something to eat? Saturday, May 1st. Tomas. Coby fell asleep leaning against me, and Albert carried him to the master bed. I wasn't sure who to be angry at anymore, his parents or Sam. My brother was closer. Sam lay in one of the chairs smelling of alcohol and vomit. He had thrown up on himself. Great. That would be an extra bill from somebody. Can we leave him for housekeeping to deal with? Turning the lights off, I checked on Coby. Even asleep, he cradled his arm, was very pale, and had tear tracks on his cheeks. I didn't even want to think about what he had to do to rebuild his life, and my music helped him do it. That's one humbling thought. Terrifying, even. After I dug through my gear for some blank sheet music, I took the pad outside, but Joey and Albert cuddled in the wicker love seat. I pulled up a stool at the kitchen bar instead and jotted down a few ideas. I had too many thoughts racing through my head to even think about sleeping. My boyfriend had trusted me with the shame that almost destroyed him. A lost, lonely, desperate soul that used music to survive the streets and pull himself off them. My music. From that moment, I looked at Coby differently. He was more than a friend, someone who I trusted more than anyone else I knew, more than my brother or my mom's. And he finally trusted me. I didn't blame him for selling himself. He had to. I loved him in spite of that. A thread of a melody flowed through my mind, only a scrap, but it fought for attention. So far, only 8 notes. I thought for a moment, wrote it down, and adjusted a few quarter notes to half notes. The timing came. 4/4, key of G sharp for now, but that could change. Except the melody line. My music had changed somebody's life. A door opened behind me. Coby came through. He ran his right hand through his hair. He'd washed the tear tracks off his cheeks, but his eyes were red and puffy. He ran the back of his good hand across his nose. As he walked around the chairs and suitcases, he angled right for me. His eyes were wide and pleading. What was going on in that head of his? You should be in bed, I whispered. You need sleep. He stepped close so only I could hear. Are you okay with me? I knew what he meant. Was I about to kick him out like his parents? I tousled his sleep-tossed hair. We're good. Nothing's changed. We just have more to talk about. He stared at the floor, his left hand held at heart level. I'm sorry. I'm not who you thought I was. I can still leave. I don't want to hurt your career. Translation. I need somebody to forgive me, because I can't. With a slight tug on his shirt, I pulled Coby to me and let him bury his head on my shoulder. You are more important. Have you seen your parents since? No. I went back once and all my stuff was boxed up and on the porch. I could only take a couple of small things, so I don't know what happened to it. They probably threw it away. Translation. Please don't throw me away. My heart broke as his ragged breathing and tears stained my shirt. I held him as hard as I could, and he clutched me tight. He breathed in and half sobbed it out. Logically, I understood his pain, but I didn't understand it either. My moms would never do that to me or Sam, but it had happened to Coby. Every so often I would see internet stories of this kind of thing, but I never believed them. Now I had to. Do you know how proud I am of you, of making it this far on your own? Coby didn't say anything, so I kept going. Someday you'll graduate, make a name for yourself, and show the world what you can do. And your old family will realize what they've missed out on. But you'll have made a new one, a better one. A muffled sob came from my shoulder. How long had Coby held this pain inside? I know it hurts, but you're going to be okay. I'll make sure of it. As I slid off the stool, I forced Coby to look at me. Nothing has changed between us. Understand? Nothing. But in reality, everything had. Never had I seen another person be this vulnerable, and all I wanted to do was protect him. Coby needed me. I needed him. Money aside, we needed each other to survive. You need to understand, Coby. I love you. Somewhere tonight, as crazy, as insane, as weird as it sounded, my love for Coby had completely filled the emptiness inside me. Coby, for the first time in 3 years, I felt like someone cared about me. Really cared. Maybe I might belong somewhere, to someone. Tomas. Coby and I finally fell asleep, or more accurately, the aspirin finally knocked him out and I fell asleep. The sun shone through the windows and I got up and closed the drapes. Coby needed sleep, and I needed caffeine. Our personal chef was already in the kitchen prepping for breakfast. Morning, I said. Coffee, she said, and poured me a cup. Thanks. We'll need lots. We had an issue last night. I nodded at my brother. She grated a potato and said, I can smell. Our vegan's here as well. I added a couple of teaspoons of sugar to my coffee and walked over to look at my brother. In the light, the vomit stain stood out, and something else on his shirt. Spilled champagne? That tux would need one major dry cleaning bill, if they didn't burn it first. Taking the coffee outside, I tried to organize the day. Concert tonight, rehearsal, sound check this morning. I'd given the trainer the weekend off so I could spend time with Coby. Somewhere in there, I needed to get Coby to a doctor. But first, I had to deal with Sam. I'll get mad at him after he stopped stinking. Back inside, I set the coffee on the counter. I'll need a refill and a couple of fresh ones, please. Funny, in all our conversations, I don't know how Coby liked his coffee, or if he even drank it. I have to face the hard part first. Sam, wake up. I gently shook his shoulder. God, did he stink. Leave me alone, Sam mumbled. I shook his shoulder again. We've got rehearsal, sound check, band stuff. 5 more minutes, boss man. Whatever. One refill for me, a fresh cup for Coby. He's already up, hair flailing about his head. Definite deer in headlights look. Definite bedhead. I handed him the cup. Before you ask, yes, I'm okay with everything, and we're okay as well, fellow Jimhead. Thanks, Coby whispered, his lips twitching into a faint smile, but his eyes were still bloodshot. Thanks. For last night. He didn't look so vulnerable this morning, just scared. I took his hand. You're going to be okay. We're going to be okay. But right now we need to hurry and get ready. I'm going to need help with Sleeping Beauty. How's your hand? About the same. He sipped the coffee. We're showered, dressed, and ready in 20 minutes. and guess who was still asleep? We stood over Sam, trying not to laugh as we remembered the video. My arm was around Coby's shoulders because I didn't want to let go of him. "Ideas?" I said. Coby said, "Bucket of ice water? We've got plenty of ice." "No bucket. Big bowl, maybe?" the personal chef said from the kitchen, flipping bacon. "We'll have to pay extra cleaning fees if you guys get everything wet," Les said, and walked in with his laptop. "How's the hand?" "Fine," Coby said. Jerry walked in behind Les and glanced at Coby. "What's the plan for this morning?" "Coby, sit this one out," I said, dreading Sam's reaction. "Jerry, you grab one side, I'll grab the other. The master's shower is the biggest and closest. In he goes, tucks and all." "Coby." "It's fricking ice water," Sam screamed, but he didn't use the word fricking. The noise from the bathroom was torture to listen to. Can a grown man have that high of a scream? As I laughed, I jiggled my hand, and then I stopped laughing. Pan shot up and down my entire hand and the lower part of my arm. Tomas was right. I needed a doctor. Using profanity I hadn't heard since the streets, Sam yelled, "I don't know what you're talking about. I don't remember hitting anyone. You're making it up." "It's always my left hand. Every time I overused my left hand, it got like this. Well, not like this. It's never been this bad before." I took another sip. I've never developed a taste for coffee, but this kind is good. The caffeine perked me up. "You've embarrassed yourself and humiliated everyone in the band," Les said. "Rough night last night. I can't believe I told Tomas. And I can't believe he let me stay." "Humiliated? What do you call what Tomas did with Coby in front of everybody? And you're yelling at me?" Sam did remember, the little liar. It wasn't funny, but I laughed a little anyway. I raised my voice. "Do you have any vegan pancakes?" "Check the cupboard," the personal chef yelled back. "We've dealt with that," Jerry yelled, this time. I found a mix in the pantry, soy milk in the fridge, and a bowl. "I can take my own pants off, pervert." The personal chef and I both had to set everything down and laugh. "Real maple syrup is in the fridge," she yelled. "I found it. Thanks." "Pan, what? Is that a real thing?" The yelling finally stopped. The personal chef refilled my coffee, and I took another couple of aspirin. What's so special about pancakes? I can make them. They're easy. It's life that's hard. Keeping my left hand up, I poured in the soy milk and tried to mix one-handed. The bowl kept spinning. When I tried to support it with my left, the left hand howled. "I'll take care of that," the personal chef said. "You want ice for the hand or heat?" "Heat." As I sipped the coffee, she made some sort of hot pack out of a towel. Jerry stormed out of the master suite, sleeve dripping wet. "Lord, give me strength. Is the coffee ready?" "Help yourself." I slid a cup over to him. One cup and his mood improved. I thought I wasn't a morning person. No matter how my past humiliated me, Tomas had to be protected. Jerry knew that, and I knew that. Jerry can't be blindsided sometime in the future. There's too much at stake. Tomas is more important than me. "Jerry," I said, "I know it's a really bad time, but can I talk to you, please, alone?" We went out to the deck for a little bit of privacy. The blanket from last night lay crumpled by one of the chairs. "What is it?" Jerry demanded. I hadn't been this scared since last night. My hands were freezing and my legs shook. I told him what I told Tomas. I didn't know what kind of reaction to expect. I held my breath. Jerry's face paled. "I don't want what I had to do to hurt Tomas." With a deep breath, Jerry stepped to the railing. "You lived on the streets for a year." I nodded. "You're his friend. I thought—" "Your own parents kicked you out," Jerry muttered, turned from the railing. "I don't want this to hurt Tomas. I love him so much." Jerry pulled out his phone and walked out of the suite. What did I just do? A horrible fear wrapped around me. The pancakes soured in my stomach. I am about to lose the most important person in my world. I folded the blanket, went back in, and ate more pancakes. Just like years ago, whenever I stressed, I couldn't stop eating. At least they were healthy. Could I sneak some of that bacon my way? I was bold. Strawberry jam and maple syrup, as I waited for the next disaster. Les came out of the master suite. Jerry? He went into the hall to make a phone call, the personal chef said. Les went into the hall as well. I shouldn't have said anything. Jerry was one of the people in charge of Tomas's career, and he could make me leave. If the world found out that Sterling was dating a street kid turned whore, the scandal could destroy him. The warmth of the compress made my hand feel better, but not my soul. When Les came back in, he gave me the oddest look. He wasn't smiling. What have I done? Thank you, everybody, for joining me for Chapter 24 for White Silk Lover. We'll see you for Chapter 25. Thank you for listening, and peace.